Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining Archangel Alt. So we're going to do something fun to change things up a little bit today. I'm actually going to go into our browser version of things where we're watching our Phoenix positions. I've set these intentionally higher for longer term, higher payout. And you can see each of these, the next one in the running is about 200 and the longest distance one is about 200. All of these in Bitcoin world dollars. And our biggest one is in between at 677. So that's actually not seeming quite as crazy as before, but knowing that I've been expecting a trajectory pretty high for a while, that these are intended to, if you're going to hodl for a while for the best return, and I do fully expect it to actually mature up in that range. This looks really crazy when you look at the 12-hour. But this was over, let's see, from 1026 to about 1029. It was, staying up in that area. Not the 800s, but in the our biggest position here, 677, and it's been doing a natural progression through here. We had the scare into the hard fork, and it did what all coins were doing in there. And this was after the 60% drop had already taken place before it was getting its proper listing stuff done. So this is in the 50% down range. So this is an extreme up in a very short period of time. Not that I expected to just shoot all the way up to clear everything, but I wanted to use this as an opportunity to show you what I'm talking about when I talk about liquidity. Because everybody's talking about what is the formula for mass adoption, and how are we going to get there, and all that kind of stuff. And my personal belief, and it's not just based on belief, it's based on a lot of parameters that would say that it is going to hold true, is that trading these on the market really is the answer to mass adoption. The answer is right here. We have a reliable way to do it. Binance has provided a great platform for trading. In my opinion, in a lot of ways, it's better with all the features you want without all the stuff that complicates the issues with a lot of the traditional stock trading option, do-it-yourself stuff, mirror trade, that kind of thing. So, I absolutely love the setup here. I hope that they never get stupid because they provide something really great. So, having said that, we hit a peak at 410, which is fantastic. Would not expect for a couple of months, really, if not 5 or 6 weeks, to come into this range. Kind of starts making you think, if we can get within 20, 30 points of clearing the 400 when, I didn't even know that we would get to the 300s as soon as we did. Gosh, it kind of makes you think that anything is possible. I mean, if I can make it to 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900? Could it double? Could it triple? Could it 10x? Okay, that's not actually the game we're playing, but more power to you. So, let's see what we're doing here. Right now, Bitcoin is at 119 million 24-hour volume. So in the past 10 hours, it's gone up another 20 million. Most of that being the sell-off. So I'm kind of thinking that was a bit of a, let it get to the short positions to clear and then buy back in to earn a healthy profit on both sides. That's the way that cycle works. And does it work? Well, here's the point. Mass adoption, I think, comes from liquidity. I think that liquidity comes from making use of the coins that are able to be traded on the market. I think that is a clear answer, an easy answer, and a logical answer. So this is the first time really in several months that there's been examples of just real, pure buy-in, sell, buy and sell liquidity. It's really exciting to see this. So as you can see, the faster that it's clearing and these positions are going through, this is actually selling at a rate much higher than Bitcoin right now, by a long shot. Throughout this range, you can see the natural progression of the volume down here where my cursor is. And I think it's doing natural patterns right now. So, it's going to hit 410 again. Should I buy in? It's extremely risky up there. And right now I'm just looking at it with the VWAP. That's our volume weighted average price. But what I wanted you to see about liquidity, like let's say if I put in 375, that's a fairly safe distance from where it is right now, and I put that in, you're going to see a pretty big jump. Okay, yeah, so I'm actually partially weighting that down, and that's not my intention, but that is kind of what I mean about liquidity. The truth of the matter is, it can jump down, grab a position, and jump right back up when it hits a certain point because it has no problem tearing through all those different positions. Let's see how long it has to go for these guys right here. 0.5. 0.3, 0.2, 0.5. Okay, somebody bought back in. Okay, cleared it, went through, cleared it. Now it's in a position to where if there's more buy-in, there's more buy-in. So we might actually safely come up here and try to get in there. But I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Liquidity is just tearing through these positions. And it's creating value. Value is in the buying and selling, the movement of the price in a, pleasantly volatile, pleasantly balanced range. So, like for instance, I mean, it literally, if this was around the average of what it's really worth, somewhere between, let's say, 350 and 360, okay, it could go up and down between 350 and 60 over and over and over and over again. It doesn't have to be a huge climb like this, although I'm happy to see that right now. To me, it'd be very exciting to go ahead and see 444 clear. It's not a huge amount that comes back to us, but it's just, it's one more, reassurance about the decisions that we're making over time. But, if we're looking at liquidity as being somewhere between 350 and 360, and it's constantly fluctuating between those, people are owning it, people are selling it, people are trading it out. I think what some people may not understand is that it's better for it to be going through cycles of liquidity, buying and selling, and maintaining a range than it is for it to just be, let's say, valued at 355 and to stay there stagnant. Hodling is a way that people show loyalty to a coin in a project. And maybe the idea being that someday it's going to be worth so much, then I'll sell it then, or true loyalty, I'm never going to sell it. Well, unfortunately, that's not really helping the project. What helps the project is when it gets bought and sold. The liquidity is really the name of the game. So people are talking about what kind of things are going to take mass adoption. Some huge pump. Well, this doesn't really look like just a pump going on here. If you look at some of the patterns that it's been doing for a while, down here was at 226 and it spiked 20, which is a lot for something that's a lower value coin. It established sort of a support range from here to here to here to here to here, not dropping below that for a while. Then we had a slight steady up. Then we had 236, 246, 262, okay? And then, and this is over days that it finally got to this point. And a lot of things were, driving upwards and driving upwards. But if this were a pump, I'm not sure that it would be able to do the second wave as strong as it's doing right now. So we have different trading cycles coming in. And from what I've seen of the most diehard of pump groups, they're not really organized enough to get something done in between these 2 points. So this is some really natural interest, and it's being driven by the fact that there's liquidity and it's happening very quickly. So, it just so happens that these are the coins that we have been putting in position and earning off of for a long time. So literally, some of our top list, Phoenix, Doc, Fuel, Rin, Raven, Fun. We already cleared our yo-yo. Always checking on Poe and how it's doing. TNT. So it just it's clear to me that we're looking at the right coins in the right range, at the right times. So that's really all. I came to do this video just to talk about liquidity, but we're also going to make it a trading video because I'm kind of interested in continuing here. It's kind of nice change of pace to do this in the browser. You can see we've been clearing some very good positions. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so, every time we hit this new point, it kind of looks like it's at the top of the mountain. I'm sure it absolutely looked like it here. Now I'm just talking trade stuff. And then, you go up here and you're like, oh my goodness, well, how long could it stay up there? That must be that. And no, that's not the end of it. So I don't imagine that it's going to go far beyond 4 here, but I'd really love to see it do that 444 and clear our position there. Oh my goodness, there it goes. There she blows. And I mean, I tell you, after all this time and paying this much attention, I would feel really foolish to get stuck at the top. So I'm going to be lean very hard into my overly cautious mode. I'm perfectly happy if I just sit it out watching this and it gets up to the 444. If I see it do another one of these, I will try to get in around here probably. Because really, I mean, a move of 2 points is enough to get a good profit and be out and safe. So I might inch another 2 up. Another thing about liquidity is that it can jam the site up a little bit. So you want to be sure that you're in a position to be able to clear out well ahead of time. If you don't want to go in on a position, you're nervous that it's getting too close to the top. We have had a couple times. The only reasons that we got stuck was for technical difficulties. That happened to our very early key positions, embarrassingly, when it was first listed. And I worked that thing for 14 hours, just making incredible, strides with our smaller positions. Probably came close to doubling whatever our current trade size was, just trading key. And then as it was selling off, it was jammed up and I could not clear out of positions. It was a very sad moment indeed. But now in comparison, we're getting to a point where even those earliest positions probably won't hurt us over time. So good stuff. All right, so what are we doing here? We hit 417 this time, and it's still climbing up. Still climbing up. Is it going to go down there? Yes, it's going to go down and test and then probably continue up. Oh, such a tough decision. It's so high up there. Oh, so tough. Such a tough. I'm going to see if it's going to come down to 403. Somebody else agrees with me. I'm just going to try it very quickly at 403, in and out. And so 4, 5, 6. I'm ready to sell at 6, just in case that's what it decides to do. It's a downturn. Haven't decided if I'm going to let it do it or not. Probably not going to let it do it. Yeah. So we're going to hold. What I saw was just a little bit of a curve there. It's probably going to keep going, but I don't want to be the one to, test the risk level there. So let me make sure I know what I'm doing over here as far as my Binance positions in the browser. Okay. All right, so we're not in over there right now. Liquidity is so cool. So this is what it looks like when it goes gangbusters. It has a very easy time dropping down, popping back up. But it does depend on what people are wanting to do, and anybody can, crash buy or crash sell in this kind of environment. I'm actually surprised that there's not more extreme buy-in positions at this point. I'd expect to see more, like pop-up, bull activity in there. 2 Bitcoin at 415, 16, 17. 5 Bitcoin at 422. Hey, we could actually see our position now. Check that out. Nice. The other ones are way too high to see yet. But hey, maybe they're coming up. All right, so it's kind of finding a little bit of a peak. People in their logic of things are, probably testing just how safe it is here. Bitcoin's sitting a little bit sideways right now, even though it is, it's holding in the 3,700 range. And frankly, I'm okay with the volume right now, being about 120 million on Bitcoin. If it's showing it strong somewhere right now, that's better than continuing to drop. So I hope it doesn't have to go down into the 36 and 35 range. So got to keep an eye. It may be doing this and then this in this range right here. And let's see if it comes down to the 396 range or not. It might. It might not. Maybe yes, maybe no. Really like to get in and out of one big position on Phoenix, maybe in both accounts. Boom, 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 boom. It's kind of narrowing in there, but there's still room up to about 405. Yes. 399 to 405. Tough call. Tough call. Let's give it a shot. It's actually filling some of, using the liquidity from 400 to cover the stuff up here, so it may actually do it. I may try 401 to 405. We'll see. Don't want to get overly zealous. Still want to be cautious, but we are at the top of the hill. So, we'll see. That was a close one. Yeah, I feel like it's still establishing this here, so. Would have been okay with it. Would have been okay, but it's just this kind of narrowing in on this range right here. Narrowing in. So that would have been okay. Yeah, I mean, we would have called it right. That's fine. It's a little bit deeper. So what did it do the last time I was here? The last time I was here, 377 to about 367. So it actually dipped down 10 the last time I was there, 405. A little bit less that time. What I'm looking at right here is the angle down, the difference between those two averages. That's about the same as it was over here. So we'll just kind of see what it's doing here. What I don't want to see is for it to do that rainbow shape, that slope in here. If it's still edging upwards, then we can still get in a very quick, very safe position. 401 to 404, let's say. Oh, it's getting tricky. No. Okay. And that's awesome. I'm very much okay if I'm missing out on some of this by being overly cautious. This undecided range, I mean, I've seen this stuff just drop like mad, and I just don't want to get stuck in something that I would regret. You got to know when... Okay, whatever. This ain't gambling. The Trader. The sequel to The Gambler. The trend is still there. I mean, I'm kind of astonished. I'm definitely cautious. I want to see what it looks like with our Bollinger Bands, so I'm going to add those guys in instead. One of the things I need to do my comparison video of the client versus the browser for Binance. But one of the disadvantages in the browser is just choosing between an indicator. It won't draw the multiples on top of each other for whatever reason they decided to do that. Maybe, it takes too much memory doing it that way. You can actually pull right in the trading view charts right here in the browser. Another pretty amazing feature. So if you like those better, I mean, they look, they look more like, your parents' professional looking stock charts, And you can see the trend line that's coming up to this point where they're all coming together. Personally, obviously, I have my preferences. And where do we have show countdown? I guess you choose your indicators the same way there. I would like to choose Bollinger Band width. Yeah, no, this ain't my thing, man. I like the look of this. I do. It looks right to me. Okay, so we're starting to come down now. A little bit anyway. I call this position sitting on the fence, and the fence is middle, mid-range, middle. Since we're here in the browser version of things, let's take a look at what's going on with our tweets over here. Kind of enjoying learning the way around Twitter land, making friends, making comments. So you can see a snapshot of what's going on with Phoenix as I was doing this part. Fun stuff. Okay, we're mimicking Bitcoin in this range here. $5 Bitcoin right there. They may snap that out of the way, but I am just gonna, well, Okay, no, I'm not. Way too quick. Oh, it can happen so fast. It can just move so quickly. It's amazing. But I think that is a buy-in, isn't it? Second guessing myself. I'm so nervous to jump in at this pace. I don't want to get greedy. I want to be cautious. I want to make smart moves. Is it dropping below the Bollinger? We're going to see. It is very much staying in pace with Bitcoin. So I want to see how much of an effect this has if I cancel the 379. Okay, you could immediately see things shift when we did that. Okay. Got a trend line, sort of. A little bit lower than where we are now, but this really is more about Bitcoin than anything else right now. Bitcoin's doing exactly the same kind of moves. And so we're mirroring those moves. I think we might get a little bit of an uptick here. Yeah, it's doing exactly what I'm seeing in front of me. I'm just nervous to go in. Don't trade with your emotions. Well, my goodness, I'm not going to stuff them down. You know what I like to do when I get nervous? I like to buy things like coins. No. Okay. All right, so this is actually falling out of sync with Bitcoin. So this is more of a liquidity thing. Yep, it's because of they're weighing it down at 382 at 11 Bitcoin. So this is now responding to that. So it could continue to fall here. This is manipulation, not necessarily the best kind, but I understand, what they're trying to accomplish. Is just that if they do it too heavy in the wrong position, then they can actually, cause fear and people start selling off instead of having the reaction that they're trying to go for. So, the thought process is how cheap can I get it? How good a price can I get? Because it could snap up, 20, 30, and then, it's a little bit of a greedy move trying to get too much too short of a time. Okay. And Bitcoin is at 3705, 3704, 73, 3703. How long is this going to hold in that range? Now somebody's going for 13 Bitcoin at 383. And there it goes. Ate every single bit of that. That's liquidity. Oh, I'm so glad you got to see that example. You can take the video back if you missed it. But this is a huge exaggeration of what Bitcoin is doing. This is its own activity kind of on top of the slight down that's happening with Bitcoin. It could continue going down, and it may break that 3,600 range, in which case that'll definitely be a signal that people will start selling this off harder. Exciting stuff. So as you can imagine, like when we were up there and I was trying to decide whether to go in around 399 to get it to go, to sell around 403, 404. I mean, I know from experience how quickly it can change. And if Bitcoin does exactly what it's doing right now, I mean, you're stuck up there. And I mean, how foolish are you going to feel if you've been watching it all this time and then you wait until it got to exactly the place where it didn't reverse? So, I've been there before. And then you might wait a day, a few hours, but it could be weeks or months. Oh my goodness. Okay. 379. Is that our point? Okay. I'm waiting, I'm watching, I'm waiting. Nope. I think it's going to go lower than that now. Have this feeling it's going to go lower. So yes, it would have cleared us right there, but I want to, do one very quick, very large position, and I don't want to get stuck. And I have a feeling it's going lower. And it just showed signs of that being the case. Now somebody's coming back in at 375, and it could very well weight it down there. And Bitcoin is still hovering around the same, $3 range that it's been doing. It's sitting right on the line at 3,700. And if it breaks here, it's going to give a signal for, people to kind of get scared. That doesn't mean that it's exactly what it'll do here. This could do its own thing at any point in time. Maybe breaking that 367 range. We'll see. Right now, Phoenix Coin really, this the best example of anything that's doing stuff like this right now. It's got the crazy good liquidity. It's still within a value range that's easy to clear quickly. It's the perfect combination for what I like to do. And here I am talking instead of trying to get in. So let's see. Now may be the right time to try to go. Okay, Bitcoin broke the 3,600. So it's now going down steeper. Don't know how that's going to affect this one right now. It seems like it's continuing with its own pattern. But if it breaks through these guys, then it'll happen very quickly. So let's see what it does. I don't mind watching to learn to get that instinct to go in at the right time. Hopefully, it doesn't become one of those things where it has to go down before it goes up. I'm actually going to come in shallow again. Not that shallow. That shallow. 367, 369, 371. Yeah, see, it's coming down. And we're part of that effect. That right now it's the 375 they're weighing it for, but it also is calculating beyond that. So we're going to see. I don't know. See how quickly it was able to go through all those positions. It's amazing. So it's a little bit us, a little bit Bitcoin, a little bit the ones that it's eating up down here along the way. So how far down does this go? Maybe at this line, maybe at the 371. We'll see. We will see. Yeah, I think people are getting nervous at the sell-off, so once again, we want to make the right move. Don't want to get too anxious, get greedy. I mean, just because I want to see it do something big and do something quickly doesn't mean that it's worth getting stuck doing so. Raven is at 8,000 Bitcoin 24-hour volume. Super, mega, amazing, fantastic. So I'm actually going to get a feel for what it's doing over here. Like going in, get my feet wet first, and see what the effect on the liquidity is. This has even more, so it might even be more twitchy. Yeah, very similar thing. They're both being affected by Bitcoin now. But I mean, if they can, if they lose sync, then they may not necessarily bounce back from the movement that they're doing. So, I mean, that's something to consider. But 799 is our high point on Raven, and if it doesn't come all the way back down, from where it started this lovely trend, then it could make it on the next wave or the one after that, very possibly. So another thing that's kind of nice with the browser is I can just go back and forth like this. So it's still in the 370s. Back over to Raven. So we would be looking for about a spread of 4 on this one to be okay. Not sure if I feel like going in on this. Let's see. We still left one position over here, 2 positions over here. Yeah, I'm more in the Phoenix zone right now. I'm feeling like it's getting ready to be the right time to go in. 378, 9, 80, 81. Is it still able to get over there to like 82-ish if I want it to? What's the likelihood that it pops down to here or lower? Let's find out. Find out if it's still kind of opening back up to do another down. Because Bitcoin's getting ready to do so. Yeah, see? 378. Oh. Takes a lot of patience to make the move that I feel the most comfortable with. See that Slight slope starting to happen, and that's partially because of Bitcoin. It's at 36.97. Okay, boom, boom. And we're in. And I'm going to spread that between those two. All right, so Bitcoin's pulling it down a little more at 36.96. Don't want to see it do a deep dive there. It's starting to do that a little bit. Hate it when I wait that long and then, but it's actually going to go beyond that. So there's that, and there's that. 375. Okay, all right, that's okay. Nope. So reverse, and you'll be okay. So what I need to do is I want to see the trades. Come on now. All right, so pardon me for a moment. $378. Okay. So everything went in at 378. I just wanted to verify. Sites back over here. Okay, well, yeah, don't do that. That's not the right thing to do. Kind of testing the low side of this a little bit. Right now, I mean, just what I'm doing is I'm looking and testing liquidity. Sometimes you can give it support in much lower positions. So I'm just going to see. All right, so Bitcoin is back around 3701. Let's see if it's staying in sync. If it is, then it'll be good. So 378. Make sure that's right. 378. 381. 382. 383. 4. And 5. So I'm kind of spreading out my risk, but making it worth a larger profit if that happens to be possible. If not, I can shift it all to, 389, 379, 380 is even a profit. In fact, we can look at 378. So our 0.5% begins at 380. So it seems like no matter how cautious I am, for the most part, usually, when I'm looking for a position that I have a very high confidence, even if it's tricky and it makes my heart stop a few times, usually once I enter, it usually has to go down before it comes back up. That just seems to be the cycle where I see things. So, and right now it's at the top of that staircase. But I've been watching, this part of the downtrend for a while, and I think that people are still looking to buy in. So a lot of this is instinct, and I see out of the corner of my eye, I see a lot of stuff going on with Bitcoin. So we'll see what's happening from here. Hitting this at the right time if Bitcoin just doesn't screw us up in the meantime. It's like sitting right on the fence. Okay, so We're doing all right here. So I hope that I'm making the point in this process of what true liquidity looks like. And even this is a pretty docile example. It gets really, really crazy and crazy fast paced. All right, so it's averaging in around here, around 374, 375. Bitcoin is kind of doing the same thing at exactly the same place. It's that 3,700 equals about 370 right here, 37, 370. Very interesting. So sometimes Bitcoin does 2 or 3 of these. Right now I can see it kind of coming up here, down here, and then weakening around, I hate to say it, but somewhere around there. Maybe around here. And if it taps out at 381, that's okay. I mean, all of this is okay. You know, I'm not taking a risk that I'm not willing to let sit for a while. We see once again with Phoenix, you know, it's kind of tapping out that range there. We see 440 would clear back to where it was right before the Bitcoin Cash thing. And it really had really great opportunities before that debacle happened. So I think it's got a more powerful up than what we're seeing right now. It's just making me nervous. I should be able to get into the force again. And that would actually be really nice if we tried to do that stretch instead. We shall see. While it's doing that, I'm actually going to consider whether I want to go in over here or not. Let's see. So over here, it'll tell us our percentage right here. So I'm going to see whether it does it or not. And once again, it's doing exactly what Bitcoin is doing. So it's very nerve-wracking indeed. Yep, there we go. Of course, when you weren't looking. Okay, so 377.8. I'm just going to climb it very close in there. 378, 379, 380, and 381, 382. Okay. You can see that heavy weight down here, 11 Bitcoin, but it's going up anyway. All right, that's what we need to see it do. That's good. Not moving any of that around. I don't want to give it a trigger and have it bounce back down on my behalf. Saw somebody put in 15 Bitcoin at 370 trying to weigh it down. And I'm not sure if they just don't know how to do that part or not. They're trying actually to go for 384. But I've seen the people with large amounts of Bitcoin that do those positions, they don't quite seem to balance it correctly. And I'm not sure if this is one of those examples or not. I don't want to be over presumptuous on things that I'm not certain about. Maybe a little bit of the right blend of is there a right blend of presumptuous? I don't know. Pre-assuming something? Is that kind of where that comes from? All right, well, let's finish this cycle out. Let's not get thrown off with other distractions here. Come on. In fact, it's kind of time to hit the 400 range again. It's doing well. Ate through some of those. Look at this larger here. Yep. Okay, so 382 is where those finish clearing. So I'm headed back over to the browser where we want to see this finish things. Finish the cycle in the positive. I had it muted. Sorry there. I was watching, just testing the liquidity on Raven. But I see Bitcoin is taking another $10 dive there. And I mean, the fact that this is picking up despite that, it's got another 500 BTC 24-hour volume. And it's probably headed back up for to the 400s again. I say that I'm going to go, but yeah, I'm not going to risk that one. So hopefully it continues going up. Keep your eyes on it. I will too. And I'm going to go ahead and call this quits for now. Archangel Alts out.